Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stand and we want you to make some noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go three abreast. It is showtime at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You got them for a breath. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime! Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again, it's Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad you joined us. Erin, Evernham, and Steve Poston wrapping up a big weekend on the West Coast and on the East Coast and all over the place.
Yeah.
How's things going? Everything good in your world?
All is well. How about you?
Fantastic. I got a little sprint car racing last weekend
Yep.
with the Carolina Sprint Tour. Went down to Lakeview Motor Speedway.
Yeah, how was that?
It was great. It was great. I love those. Love our guys down there. The racetrack really neat. Got to watch Brandon McLean get his first career win. 16 years he's been trying to do it, and he got his first career win. And so had fun. It was great. Great little racetrack. The Carolina Sprint Tour is a great group of folks.
Yes.
And then got to see a great race on top of it. So
Nice.
really neat. Mission accomplished. So a lot of those, some of the stories from down there at Lakeview Motor Speedway are on our Wing Nation Facebook page. I did a couple videos. Just took a little camera down there with a little selfie stick and had some fun. So really excited about it. And I'm very excited because I'm going to Atomic this weekend for 3 nights of All-Stars. Man, I'm going to be rubbing it in. I'm going to be rubbing it in like you wouldn't believe. But it is good. It is good. And great stuff in the sprint car world, that's for sure. Let's get to it. Our classicing, screen printing, and embroidery hot topics. Tuscarora 50. First off, it started off with the Friday night before the 50. Let me see. The driver from Washington with the crew chief from the Carolinas that based his operation in Iowa with a team owner from Pennsylvania, went to Pennsylvania and won. Pretty easy. Trey Starks from Puyallup, Washington. Easy for me to say. Yeah. That was cool. It was good to see Trey, get that win. I know he's just a great racer. What a great guy.
Win at Knoxville, it's nice to see him back it up with that. So picked up the win on the night before, the 50. But then the 52nd annual Tuscarora 50, $52,000, career biggest win, Erin Reutzel picks it up. Yeah.
Not a shocker. He gets around Port really good. And we're going to talk to Erin in just a little bit. Lance led the thing and didn't win.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's the shocker. It's not a matter of Erin and not a matter of then Anthony Macri was going like Jack the Bear at the end of that thing. He was rolling. But I don't think it's a shocker that Erin won. I think it's a shocker that Lance was leading it and didn't win.
Correct.
But great stuff at Port Royal. And the crowd.
Whew.
Oh, my God. I mean, I bet you could have driven down any town in Pennsylvania, like Harrisburg or Scranton or Wilkes-Barre or Allentown or something. There'd have been nobody there because they were all at Port Royal.
Yeah, incredible crowd.
That was amazing. So great stuff up in Pennsylvania. It continues on up at the Speed Palace. Now on the West Coast, it was the Gold Cup at Silver Dollar Speedway. Brad Sweet picked up the win on Friday night, but man, I was so happy to see this.
Me
Daryn
too.
Pittman, 4th win of the season, which I think we talked about that last week, that it's shocking to us because it seems like he's been up front all year.
Yeah.
Second Gold Cup win, but when you drive that 83 car, you got to win in California.
Yeah.
For Dennis and Teresa Roth. So a great win for Daryn there on that. And we're going to talk to Daryn as well today. So we got Erin and Daryn. Wow.
Poet didn't know it.
Yes, that's right. So great stuff. Daryn picked up the win in the Gold Cup. Good vibes from the Gold Cup. The Gold Cup used to be one of those races.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then it kind of stopped being one of those races.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think it's safe to say right now it is one of those races. They have to purse $15,000 to win for Daryn on Saturday night. And the vibe I'm hearing is that it's starting to climb the ladder again. Yeah, it's starting to build again. It takes a while. It takes a while for these things to evolve into those races. Face it, the Tuscarora 50 is the 52nd running of it.
Yeah.
So you don't just click your heels and the Gold Cup is back.
But it's nice to see it turn around.
But it's turned around and going in the right direction. So we're going to talk to Daryn about that probably as well. IRA bumper-to-bumper sprints, Jake Blackhurst, always glad to see him win, especially after the bad crash he had back in July or June, I guess it was late June, and Bill Baylog picked up the win at Cedar Lake. MOA Sprints, Paul Nienheiser. Now, that was his 5th MOA win, but I think Paul is one of those drivers that quietly is in the hunt for most wins this season.
Wow. I haven't checked TJ's list lately as far as winners go, but I think Paul is at 12, maybe 13 wins this year overall. So he is rolling. And how about this one? Saturday night, Spoon River, Logan Seavey, the 2018 USAC champ, picked up the win.
He's a wheel man.
He is, man, that kid. Yeah. I watched him run the Outlaw Carts out at Millbridge. And I mean, it's like you don't have to look far to see the talent there. And then watch him at Chili Bowl.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh, he's good. Now, last week we talked to our girl Morgan Turpin, 6th in her 410 debut on Friday night, 4th on Saturday night.
Pretty sporty.
Yeah. Oh, batten down the hatches, boys. She might be coming to taking some 410 money from you all. So good to see. Great stuff with the MOA Sprints. And that will do it. That is our Classic Ink Screen Printing Embroidery Hot Topics for all of your screen printing needs, whether they be hats, whether they be shirts or sweatshirts or towels or hoodies or whatever you're looking for. Go to Classic Ink USA. It's that time of year. It's September, Erin.
Yep.
We got to start planning our 2020 clothing. Yeah. We got to start making ourselves look good for 2020. Volusia's just around the corner.
Oh, God.
I know. It's crazy, ain't it? Well, it's just the reality.
It's very
and
true,
now's
though.
the time to do it. So give Brian and everyone the call at Classic Ink USA, and they can get you set up for 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, you'll just be shipping those shirts. You won't be worried about getting them and designing them. You'll just ship them out.
There you have
Just
it.
cash those checks, baby. Yeah, so classicinkusa.com. That's www.classicinkusa.com. We talked about the big one at Port Royal, and it started with Friday night, the night before the 50, the Ollie's Bargain Outlet All-Star Circuit of Champions. Speed Shift TV was there. Earl Hoon and Blake Anderson with the call. Trey Starks putting the moves on James McFadden for the win. It's our Dryden Diesel all-death-defying move of the week.
And now for the Dryden death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
Starks found all sorts of momentum. Starks to the inside, racing for the lead. Trey Starks slide job. He's got the lead in turn 4. McFadden nearly into the tail take, nowhere to go.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Death, the official death of the World of Outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
It's O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts, where you can earn bonus points on more than 250 offers. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store today or browse through our offers at O'ReillyAuto.com, where you can earn double points shopping online. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
No matter what or where you race, Hefner Racing Products and HRP Wings has you covered. Check out the premier Shark Wing as well as other sprint car wings and components. Sprint car, mini and micro sprint wings. And the HRP Original Recess Rivet Wing. All HRP wings are wind tunnel tested. HRP carries a full line of affordable, top-of-the-line, USA-built sprint car components. Shop online for all this and more at hrpracing.com. The racer's choice. Hefner Racing Products and HRP Wings.
Since the dawn of American industry, Dryden was there as the country built its first roads, laid the blocks of its factories, and spanned rivers with new bridges and rails. Today, with Dryden's all technology, we instill this heritage into every Dryden oil, lubricant, fluid, and DEF product we make. Dryden is a tradition of performance with 21st century technology. Dryden, official motor oil of the World of Outlaws, and always American owned and operated. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
For over 50 years, drivers in sprint car, midget, micro, modified, and even dirt lay model have taken the checkered flag on Weld Racing Wheels. Legendary drivers like Joe Saldana, Carl, Mark, and Steve Kinzer, Doug Wolfgang, and countless other racers have trusted Weld Racing Wheels for their superior strength and lightweight construction to finish ahead of the competition. With 50 years of race-winning engineering and technology, American-made Weld Racing Wheels are designed and built to withstand virtually any abuse you throw at them. Weld Racing, proven speed.
This is Wing Nation on MRN.com. Since the Amish cowboy Danny Dietrich and me weren't available, here are Steve Post and the beautiful Erin Evernham.
There you go. Thank you, T-Mac. We are having a ball talking sprint car racing. It is Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires. Let's go to the Red Brand Fence hotline as we talked about in our hot topics. A couple of guys just really stepped up this weekend and scored big ones. Our first guest on the Red Brand Fence hotline picked up the win in the 52nd annual Tuscarora 50. Erin Reutzel's on the line. Hello, Erin. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
We are doing well. Congratulations, man. Tell us what it's like to win one of the big ones in sprint car racing, especially in the state of Pennsylvania.
It's unreal. I don't even think it's really sunk in yet what we've done and what this team's accomplished. And to finally get a historic event win like that, it's pretty damn cool.
Erin, you said going into the race you had a game plan. Tell us a little bit about what that is. Obviously, you're trying to conserve. 50 laps is a long time.
Yeah, that I knew that we needed to try to be running second or first, and it's like the first 25 you have to go around there and not slide your left rear, don't spin your tires, and you have to do absolutely everything you can to save your stuff for the next 25, because if you're there and you got the guys in the back that like you had like Dietrich and Macri and them that they had to race a little bit harder the first 25 to kind of get themselves in position if they wanted a shot to win it. So us already being in position, you're starting 6th or 7th, that you just really had to take care of your stuff early.
Erin, wins are good no matter how you get them, okay? And I'm never big on asking drivers about other drivers, but let's just face the facts, okay? When you have to pass that blue 69K to win the Tuscarora 50 at Port Royal Speedway, there has got to be just a little bit of extra bump in your step there when to go in there, and it's respect for Lance and respect for Donnie Kreitz and Davey and everything. It has just got to be something that adds to the layers of satisfaction you have.
Oh, big time. Absolute. I mean, I'm pretty sure almost every interview leading up to that race, you'd hear me say we're going to have to beat the 69K. Yep. And you that's, especially the track conditions, that's their bread and butter. And they're one of the guys where, they're so good that they don't have to give it 100%. He can roll around there 60, 70%, and you have to go 100 just to stay with them. And then, the last 10 laps, he can step it up and you have nothing left.
Erin, you said after the race that it was one of the hardest things you've ever done in your life. I can't imagine mentally, I mean, obviously physically it's tiring, but mentally trying to conserve but stay out front, try to keep the lead but not spin your tires too much. I mean, just talk about what you meant.
Well, you get to second and you see yourself catching the 69 and we're good and we got a shot at it, but you're still trying to conserve and you're kind of reeling them in, and I wanted to go. Like, I wanted to run the top a little bit harder, drive in a little deeper, and, make it happen. And I just kept telling myself to, not do it. And even luckily when I passed him the first time, he kind of almost got into the back of a lap car and he slipped. So, like, I didn't really have to race with him. I was able to go by him, and that helped me out a lot because then I never had to change what I was doing, and I kept running my line, and I kept seeing him, get under me, and I wanted to push it and step it up, and I just had to keep telling myself not to go yet. It wasn't time. And then, the second 25, we're still, that's a full points night for us. And, my guy tells me, hey, we're running second, Blaney's out, you have to make sure and finish. And I told him, screw that. I want to win this race. That second 25, I didn't save or anything because we were kind of falling apart on the long runs. And falling apart, I mean, like when fuel load came off, our car was getting up and we started spinning. And so I figured my game plan on the second 5 was to go as hard as I could, and maybe I could, get 4 or 5 lap cars in between us. And when I started falling apart, hopefully we would be, right there at the end, and I would have, ran into traffic and hit a little bit. So that game plan changed a little bit on the second 25.
Wow. Fascinating. Yeah. It really, truly is. What is the mental challenge? We all dream, there's always these rave reviews about Port Royal because you can run about anywhere on that racetrack. What is it's a beautiful thing to have all those options, but mentally, how challenging is that? Because every time you come to a turn, a lot of places you go to, they're one groove racetracks, you know where you're going.
Yeah.
And you just have to worry about that lap car. When you go into a turn at Port Royal, you've got so many options. It's a beautiful thing, but what's the challenge? How mentally challenging is that?
It's not too bad. I mean, well, my mindset in 1 and 2 is I'm running the top usually, so that's good for me. 3 and 4 is tough, where it's a different corner than 1 and 2 for sure. That 3 and 4 is the one where it's almost like that's where the race is won in 3 and 4. Who can get down the front stretch, because it's nothing like 1 and 2, and that one's a little bit tough. And mentally wise, it's just another racetrack, and you just have to search around and move around a little bit. And I mean, actually throughout that whole race, it doesn't seem like it, but the racetrack actually changed a lot throughout the whole race, to where on a longer run, some spots would get cleaner. And it was pretty cool, honestly.
Erin, when you have a 50-lap race and you get a break and you're running really well, how difficult is it to make the decision to make any adjustments? I mean, you want to keep up if everyone else is going to make adjustments, but if you're running well, how difficult is that decision?
After the Knoxville Nationals break, it was really tough on us, and we kind of fell apart there. We didn't do our normal, what we should have treated it like it was just another 5,000 to win race, and we let the Knoxville Nationals hype get to us, and we fell apart as a total team. And that's just a learning deal. And then for whatever reason, we learned from our mistakes, and you would have thought our halfway break on the Tuscarora, you would have thought it was just a weekly race. Everyone was calm. We talked about what was happening. He made a little adjustment, and I stayed calm throughout the whole deal and just was able to talk to him, and just like we treated it was another race. It worked out great.
I guess so. Yeah. That's fantastic. That really, truly is. It's just fun to see. Fun to see you guys just continue to improve and learn from the Knoxvilles, to take to Port, to take to the next one, to take to the next one. That's been fun to watch, that's for sure. Coming up this weekend, you're going to Atomic for not 1, not 2, but 3 straight nights. You got $12,554 or something like that on the line. Hey, do you like when you can park things at a racetrack and spend 2 or 3 days at the same place? Do you like that?
I do. Especially when you go to a track like Atomic, where it's usually a really racy track. I definitely like that. It makes things a little bit nicer when you get one hotel, and you're not rushing to leave there because we got a 4-hour drive and this and that. But it doesn't happen very often. So definitely like when we can do stuff like that.
Well, looking forward to it. I can't wait. I'm actually going to head up and catch you guys this weekend. I'm looking forward to checking out it. I've never been there, and can't wait to watch you guys race in person. I enjoy the speed shift, but in person is a lot better. Erin, I'll tell you, it's been fun. We chatted with you back when you were a Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour champion, and your journey has been fun to follow and watch along, including this big win on Saturday night. We always appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us, and best of fortunes this weekend at Atomic.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for everything. We'll see you out there at Atomic.
There we go. That is Erin Reutzel. And I was thinking that, man, this was this kid from Clute, Texas, that was starting to make some noise in the ASCS Tour. And now look at him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the premier drivers in our sport.
He is. He's just fast. He always has a lot of speed.
He's always fast, but in listening to him there, he's getting smart.
Yep.
I mean, and I don't mean that he was not smart before, but you learn the lessons like he's talked about.
You can be too fast sometimes.
You can be too fast.
Yeah.
And the thing of it is that he's just, they're building that notebook. They're building those experiences, sometimes from a bad experience, sometimes from a good experience, and saying, okay, let's not do what we did in Knoxville when we go to the Tusky 50.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Yeah.
And cha-ching, they're going to the bank. And I just love, because, like I said, I remember this kid, this is this kid we're going to call up from Clute, Texas, that's won some ASCS races, and he's a multi-champion there. And now look at him winning World of Outlaw races and All-Stars. He's in this epic battle with Dale Blaney for the point championship, cashing big checks. Man, what a story. Love the Erin Reutzel story. I really, truly do, and we appreciate him joining us here. Hey, another thing we appreciate is if you would like to win a free set of tires, go to HerculesTires.com/MRN. We're giving away a set of tires here in the month of September. So it is time to get registered again. HerculesTires.com/MRN. Speaking of big winners, who we like to talk to, Daryn Pittman is coming up next.
Sage Fruit is a high-quality grower, packer, and shipper of Washington State apples, pears, and cherries. Sage Fruit believes in sprint car racing as a proud sponsor of sprint cars for the past 16 years and a partner of Wing Nation for the past 4 years. We love sprint car racing, and we're there for our sprint car fans. Sage Fruit works hard to deliver an exceptional eating experience. We value our relationship with sprint car fans and appreciate your continued support of Sage Fruit. Ask for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
O'Reilly.
If you hear squealing and grinding noises from your vehicle, it's time for new brakes. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, when you buy any set of Brake Best pads and any 2 Brake Best rotors, you'll save 10% on your total purchase. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Red Brand Fence. Safe, durable, dependable, and long-lasting. Whether it's keeping horses, cattle, and livestock in or stopping predators, Red Brand is the best fence money can buy. Each inch of the woven wire is inspected for top quality before it's crowned with the trademark Red Top Wire. Red Brand Fence, the most trusted name in agriculture, residential, and commercial fence for over a century. For more information, go to redbrand.com.
10 tours, over 200 nights of racing. The American Sprint Car Series is back for its 28th year. Whether you're enjoying the Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series National Tour at Williams Grove, Eagle Raceway, Skagit Speedway, or any of the 9 ASCS regional tours across Arizona, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and beyond, winged and even non-winged, there's a race happening near you. Check online for schedule details at ASCSRacing.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And when you can't be there live, catch the National Tour and select regional events on RacingBoys.com.
This is Brian Brown, and you're watching MRN's Wing Nation on MRN.com.
Welcome back. We are continuing to talk sprint car racing. So from a big winner on the East Coast at the Speed Palace to Port Royal, let's go to a big winner on the West Coast out at out at Chico.
Yep.
And the Gold Cup. Joining us on the Red Brand Fence Hotline, Daryn Pittman, 4th win of the season. Hello, Daryn. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for being having me on, and I guess good to be on because it means we're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. Big win on Saturday night. How sweet was it for you to win that second Gold Cup, especially driving that number 83 car?
Yeah, I think that was what made it, the most special was, driving the 83 and being able to get, another one for Dennis and Teresa, and they haven't been able to go to very many races. Unfortunately, they weren't there either, but to win, basically the biggest race in California for them really was, I think, what made it the most special.
Daryn, 40 laps at Chico is pretty elbows up. It's a short little track. You led every lap. You had some challenges, but you had talk about how physical that is. I mean, obviously mentally you're kind of worn out, but physically that's a little bit rough.
No, absolutely. That place can be pretty physical just because it's pretty choppy, and when you're running the top like that, I mean, it basically tries to try to rip the steering wheel out of your hands. So, as it gets drier and the cushion stays really wet, it definitely can get pretty physical. The race had quite a few yellows in it and was broke up into, quite a few smaller segments, which, really wasn't too bad. But I can tell you, if it would have been 40 laps green and checkered around there, it definitely would have been a handful.
It's a question of a guy that's never sat behind the wheel of a race car. Okay, so it might be a dumbass question. If it is, so be it. But when you wake up on Sunday morning after one of those physical races, do you know it? Do you feel it? Or we're in September, you're in pretty good race shape. How does it affect your body on the morning after?
No, honestly, we're pretty good. It's and it's weird because most of us all work out pretty hard in the wintertime, but there's still nothing like getting behind the wheel and going out there and racing. And for me, I guess in my instance, it almost doesn't seem to matter how good a shape I'm in going into the first race. The first weekend is always just pretty hard. And, but yeah, by this time of year, we're all in pretty good race shape and your body's sort of trained for, that sort of activity, whether or not it's some places you just have to remind yourself to breathe a lot of times, or you run out of breath. But a lot of times, like I said, like Chico can be, sort of, from my standpoint, kind of a grip taxing type of race. So, but no, I don't ever feel anything the next day. A lot of times just can be a little bit tired, but other than that, no, I think we're all in pretty good shape and used to it at this time of the season.
Daryn, you talked after the race about, before that last caution, you remember you had flashbacks of losing to Jonathan Allard a few years back. Talk about, as a driver, like, you wouldn't think as a fan that a driver would have that much time to think about past memories, what they're going to do, but talk about, as a driver, what you go through when you know you have one more restart to make it happen.
Yeah, I think, anybody who's never done this doesn't understand that. I think the races that, as any race car driver, the ones that you lose stick with you, I think, almost, if not as much, if not more, than the ones that you win. So, I think you obviously want to learn from your mistakes in the past and make sure you don't do them again. And so, there's a lot of things going through your head while you're out there, as far as, trying to make sure you hit your marks and do everything right, but also, remember the things that you've done wrong in the past to make sure you don't repeat them. So, like that instance was, we were in lap traffic pretty heavy and wasn't sure the yellow was going to come out, and was struggling to get by Jonathan Allard, and so was really questioning whether or not I needed to find a different line or just stick with what I was doing, and ride it out those last 2 laps. But like I said, once the yellow came out, I felt pretty confident that as long as I got a good start off of turn 4 at the cone, that our car was good enough that we could hold on, and luckily it worked out.
It certainly did. $15,000 the win. How was we talked about this at the top of the show. The Gold Cup used to be one of the big ones, okay? It was, Knoxville Nationals. You had I don't even know that the King's Royal was getting there. Jackson Nationals was always big. The Gold Cup was big. Then obviously it's no secret that it struggled a little bit here recently. Was there a vibe around the event? Is it pointed in a good direction, just as a guy that's been to so many of them and been part of so many of them?
Yeah, I've been to so many. I've been to quite a few, and definitely, we're through, I think, what would be the peak of what that event was. And yeah, in my opinion, I think this year maybe did seem a little bit bigger than last year. The atmosphere in the campground's always been really good there. They definitely have a great camping following, and like I said, it's a 4-day event. Between some 360s and some non-wings, I believe, before we get there. But I definitely seem to think it's maybe heading in the right direction on the rise, but unfortunately, just not what it was at some point back in probably the mid 2000s.
Daryn, Saturday night was your 85th World of Outlaw win. I know as a driver you always want more, but when you think about your career as a whole, that's a pretty amazing accomplishment, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's something that I'm proud of, and I don't think a whole lot of it, honestly. I've only thought much about that recently, just when I got informed who the people were that we were tying or passing. It really kind of struck me as something that was pretty cool. But I think that's something maybe I'll look back when I'm done and appreciate a little bit more. Right now when somebody says it's 85, the first thing that pops in my mind are the 7, 8, 10 that I feel like I should have had on top of that, and wish it was at 95 or 96. But no, definitely proud of that. But I think that's something that I'll definitely maybe look back when my career is done and maybe appreciate a little bit more. Right now, we're just trying to focus on winning as many more of them as we can.
Number 86, that's what we're looking at. That's what we're focused on. Daryn, you joined us on the stage, Erin and I, at Knoxville, and I knew it. I follow along with it. You won the first 2 down at Volusia, and then when you said you hadn't won since Volusia, I don't know why that shocked me, because you've been up front, you've been fast, you're scoring lots of points, you're doing everything right. And then all of a sudden, now here we are, you get a couple more of them back. You won up in Oregon or Willamette, I guess it was, and then at Chico. Is there something different, or is it just this, you got to keep putting yourself in a spot like you have most of the summer, and some of them are going to fall your way? Or have you guys found a little bit more speed or the nth degree there?
Maybe a little bit of both. I mean, we've been close to winning some races, throughout the year, or between, Volusia and now. But we did change some of the team dynamic a little bit over the last couple weeks, and most of the season, I was in charge of making the setup calls and had final say, and I worked really well with Brent Ventura, who's been on our team all year long, but at the end of the day, our arrangement at the beginning of the season was that I had final say on setup decisions, and we're just already trying to focus on, how do we improve and what's the next step for, the Roth 83 team. And so I basically stepped back, and he's taken over the role as crew chief and set up, and we still work about the same together. But a lot of times I know what he does. Sometimes I don't know what he's doing. And I've just really gone back to focusing on driving. I feel like this season as a driver, I've made more mistakes, and I feel like uncharacteristic mistakes for me and the things that I know that I do. And I feel like I was just, maybe performing both jobs at 60 to 70% and not really doing either of them great. So honestly, I just really wanted to try to focus on my racing and my driving. And I felt like before, when I was out of the car, all I was thinking about was what I needed to do to the car, not thinking about, what was going to happen when I got behind the wheel. So Brent's done a great job since he's taken over, and that's something we're just trying to build that relationship and see how well it's going to work out. But so far, it's gone really well, and he's done a great job.
Daryn, when you look at your season as a whole, and you talked about the mentally, it's difficult. You go up and down. You feel like you made uncharacteristic mistakes. But how difficult is it to evolve as a team? It's a new team at the start of the year, and to know each other's roles and to get it right. Like, how difficult is that to do it when you're running 85, 100 races?
Yeah, it can, especially out here. There's just no room for error. To win any of these races, you've got to be perfect. And somebody, you make a mistake, and there's too many good teams sitting right behind you, just waiting for that to happen. So, it's all about finding a balance and having confidence in your team and everybody doing their job and knowing what their role is. We tried it a certain way and had some success, but it was pretty minimal throughout most of the year. And so just tried to change things up to see if we can't improve our performance with the same people that we have, because we feel like we have really good people. We've just got to maximize each person doing their job to the best of their ability.
Team dynamics. Boy, if we could just click our heels and make it all work, we'd all be superstars and champions, that's for sure. Well, Daryn, you are a two-time champion of the Gold Cup. You picked up that second one on Saturday night. Congratulations on that, and thanks again for joining us here on Wing Nation.
No problem. Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
There we go. Daryn Pittman. Man, I love to listen to him break down stuff.
Yeah,
and I don't care what it is, breaking it down. I mean, he could probably break down the buffet at the Golden Corral, and it'd be fascinating to me. Well, it'd be really fascinating to me.
Course.
But no, seriously, listening to him talk about the team dynamic, and thinking about that, and we watch our drivers, and to think about getting out of the race car and then having to say, what do I need to do to the race car, while maybe someone else is looking at the racetrack or thinking about what the drive, and you don't think about it. These guys are so talented and so good. It's like you've got to be 100% driver or 100% crew chief, and it's fascinating to hear him describe that as maybe 60 or 70% of one and 60, 70% of the other is not good enough.
And then to think about how that evolves over the season, because it's not like a NASCAR team that you have a meeting on Monday and you recap everything. Like, you're on the road, you're traveling, you're at a car wash, you're at so to decide to make team changes and roles, like it's pretty neat stuff.
Man, I just love chatting with Daryn Pittman, and I love seeing pictures of him. I love they share a picture of the girls when the girls are celebrating, and the Pittman family just headed down the road in the motor coach and living their life. And there were some really good pictures of the crew guys with the girls.
Yes.
That they put out on social media, and I love Daryn and Mandy and that family. I say hi to Mandy. I don't know the kid. I don't, but I love the way they live their life.
Yep.
I really do, and so much respect for the family that they have, and then to see them stand climbing on wings, that's always pretty neat too. So, hey, let's step away. We got more Wing Nation coming up in just a moment.
Looking for custom racewear and embroidery? Do you want your race fans to represent your race team with trendy, original apparel? Contact Classic Ink USA, the new standard in custom screen printing and embroidery, located in Greater Pittsburgh. Classic Ink USA's professional staff utilizes state-of-the-art facilities to transform your ideas into an attractive wearable piece. From custom track swag racewear to trendy quick crew wear, Classic Ink handles it all. Find out how you can get started. Contact Classic Ink USA screen printing and embroidery at the track and on your back. Here's your chance to win a set of your very own Hercules tires. Go to HerculesTires.com/MRN. Simply register, and each month we'll give away one set of tires. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading mileage coverage to get you wherever you need to go, no matter where the road takes you. Register now for your chance to win a set of Hercules tires at HerculesTires.com/MRN. Hercules Tires. Ride on our street.
Aggressive Hydraulics, where we engineer the cylinders that move your business. We specialize in designing and manufacturing purpose-built, application-specific hydraulic cylinders with superior precision and performance, making OEM products stronger, crafting cylinders that operate on a global basis in a wide variety of industries and applications. Get aggressive with your cylinder challenges. AggressiveHydraulics.com.
I'm Greg Wilson, driver of the Hercules Tire W20. Now back to Steve Post and Erin Evernham on Wing Nation.
It is Wing Nation. Appreciate Greg Wilson bringing us back. I'm going to get a little time with Greg Wilson this weekend coming up at Atomic. Can't wait. Can't wait to catch up with our bud driving that Hercules Tires car. You know, we're at such a good spot in sprint car racing. And just thinking about this, just chatting with Erin Reutzel and Daryn Pittman, the talent level in this sport is unreal.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's just like, there are other eras of this sport where Daryn Pittman would be winning 40 times a year.
Yeah.
I mean, or Erin Reutzel will be winning 40 times a year. I mean, but it's so deep. And as Daryn said there, one mistake and there's guys pouncing on you. I mean, and not just one guy. I mean, there's multiple guys.
Yeah.
When you look at the
10 or
depth of
12,
the World of Outlaw Field, and you look at the depth of the All-Stars, and you look at the depth in Pennsylvania, Ohio, the Midwest, California, when you look at that, it's like, oh my gosh, and you've got to have that nth degree of greatness just to pick up a couple of wins along the way.
It's true.
I mean, you see Reutzel's got like 12 with the All-Stars. Holy mackerel. I mean, man, it's awesome stuff. A National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, speaking of awesome stuff, is right in turn number 2 at the famed Marion County Fairgrounds, Knoxville Raceway. They're gearing up for the big late model nationals this week. Oh, they're all fired up out there about some full fenders out there. Oh, they'll be rolling into Dingus soon. Yes. So, but we always talk about a lot of birthdays. Roy Bud Grimm and Hector Honori had birthdays yesterday. Later this week is Tony Bettenhausen, Frankie Kerr. Later this week. Oh, love some Frankie Kerr. You kidding me? One of my favorite people. Armin Kruger, Ron Schumann coming up later this week. Today, Sammy Sessions. But today is also the birthday of John Pageant, a 2008 inductee into the Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Now, John had a real job. He worked 42 years as an electrician for the Southern Pacific Railroad, okay? But in 1962, he started working the pit gate at Auburn Speedway in California, okay? And he learned every scam from every con artist in the world trying to break into the pits, okay? You couldn't get by John Pageant. In 1973, started promoting at West Capitol Raceway in West Sacramento, then moved over in 78 to Silver Dollar Speedway. We just chatted with Daryn Pittman about the Gold Cup, when it was the Gold Cup, when it was the standard, the gold standard. Yeah. John Pageant was the guy promoting the racetrack and really, really evolved that into the 4 days of just chaos that it was. So John's now retired. They have the John Pageant Classic that they race there at Silver Dollar. I think he did a little promoting at Placerville. But that's the beauty of it. You know, our drivers are our hero. We talk to guys like Reutzel. We talk to guys like Pittman. They're going to be enshrined at the Hall of Fame in due time. But that's what I also love is that a guy like John Pageant, a promoter that made it possible, that we talk about a lot of those guys in that Hall of Fame are Gold Cup champions. And who put that Gold Cup together? Yeah. It's the promoters and the guys like John Pageant did. So that's what I love about the Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Stories about everybody in the sprint car world. You can find out more information at www.sprintcarhof.com. That's sprintcarhof.com. we've got some Wednesday night racing.
Oh, yeah.
Placerville. Oh, man, they're going to be elbows up out there. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, they're going to be wearing them out, those elbows out there. And they got to deal with that Forsberg guy and that the other. Oh, gosh, there's another. There are two guys there at Placerville. Forsberg, I've talked to Andy a lot. The other guy there, oh, gosh, now I feel like
oh, my gosh, I know who you're talking about.
I know, you know exactly. And those two guys, I mean, we're literally talking about it. If when we get done, they could be standing 1 and 2 on the podium, and some World of Outlaw guy could be third.
Yeah,
they got to roll into there because, man, they've got. Oh gosh, I am going to like 5 minutes after this show is over. It's going to come to mind.
Oh yeah.
Or in the middle of the night, and then be wide awake. One or the other. So, but it is great. Placerville this weekend, big race. Brad Sweet, I think $25,000 to win. So neat stuff. Hey, I do want to mention this as a self-serving plug. Well, it's not necessarily self-serving. I had the chance this week to. It's something you've done.
Oh
Open Red. Got to hang out with Ross and Justin. And so I'm on Open. So I'm a little concerned about Open Red, because I don't want it to go away, but I feel like now they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. It's like, okay, so let's see. We've gone through all of the A-list drivers and B-list drivers and C-list drivers, and we've gotten this mucky muck and that mucky muck.
You're the postman.
And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, let's go. Let's look down here on the bottom of the barrel. Now,
I think they heard your singing at Knoxville.
That's what it was. They wanted to do karaoke. Seriously, I have if it's not obvious, I have a passion for the sport. And it's one of those interviews I'm really happy that those guys are great. I love and I respect those guys. Two other guys that have a passion for the sport. I just like the conversation we had.
Yeah.
I think I sat and I listened to it last night, and I'm just like, I like what I got to share about myself. The passion, and if that sounds arrogant or egotistical, I apologize to it. I have a passion for the sport, and I think those guys really drew that out in the conversation.
Very neat.
And I'm happy with the way that the show went. So check it out. It's Open Red. If you check it out, you should be checking it out anyhow. I mean, even check out this week. Okay, don't take this week off when you see the guest. So that's what I'm telling you to do. But Open Red, our boys over at the World of Outlaws, and had a ball chatting with everybody over there. All Stars are at Atomic this weekend, so our racing gear is at Atomic on the All-Star trailer, or you can go to wingnation.com. That's www.wingnation.com. Now, we talked about all of the big events, and there's a lot of big ones coming up this weekend. Oshweekend has the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals race you're very familiar with. On Thursday's podcast, we're going to talk with Clinton Jeffrey. He is the general manager up there, so we're going to talk with him. And then coming up on Saturday, the ASCS boys and girls, they're getting ready for the Hockett-McMillan Memorial next week, and so we're going to talk to Blake Hahn. And we had a ball. I'm going to tell you, we already talked to Blake. We already did the interview. We had a ball talking to him. So that's on MAV TV coming up on Saturday. New times, 7:30 and 10:30 Eastern time. So that way it's 1 hour quicker. So you can get to us quicker. There, we'll go with that for sure. Hey, we appreciate Erin Reutzel and Daryn Pittman for joining us here today on Wing Nation.
Wing Nation has been brought to you by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Watch Wing Nation Saturday mornings on MAV TV. You can also find Wing Nation on wingnation.com or your favorite podcast provider. Wing Nation is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.